Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time, and by that time, it is time for MooProleague. If you guys don't know, this is the premier Korean professional team league going on at the moment, and we can see here we are introducing one of our teams playing today. This, I believe, is called Team ENG. I'm trying to think of who their sponsor is, but you can see they have Rain, Mind, Action, ForGG, Sashin, and their female player is Hana. Sashin, I don't know too well. ForGG, we should all know. English streams a lot on Twitch. Prominent player, known for beautiful timing attacks. Action has been strong lately, working his way into the top few Zergs. Mind, of course, a solid Terran player. All around pretty solid at all three matchups, but no great matchups. And Rain, well, Rain shouldn't need much introduction. He is the strongest Protoss currently in the entire scene. The clear, definitive #1 toss. So he is definitely their ace player, their strongest. And he's one of the guys the team is going to need to win. Obviously, this is a very large league, guys, honestly, too. If you look at this, there's 8 teams, all filled out with 7 players. There are a lot of returning Brood War players. The teams even have coaches here. So we are seeing the introduction of their coach and his own career, and some of the results and teams he has played for. Unfortunately, I don't speak Korean or read Korean, so I cannot do translations that way. And then we'll take a look at their opponents here, which is Team Seliver. Also a strong team in their own right. Wait, where's the introduction for Seliver? It's got to be around here somewhere. What? You telling me you guys didn't show? Oh, there we go. Alright, so here we go. We have Seliver, we have Last, JYJ, Hyuk, GGaemo, Secret, and a foreign female hope, Cadenzie. So this will be a fascinating battle here. And one of the interesting things, of course, is that Last, obviously, is one of the strongest ace players out there. That's good. But JYJ, Hyuk, GGaemo, Secret, that's pretty weak depth. Now, Cadenzie is one of the top 2 or 3 female players. She won the last LASL, so arguably the top female player. So the players on the left and right, Last and Cadenzie, are huge assets. But the middle of the team for Seliver is a little on the weak side, so we'll see. It will depend on matchups and how they can do. None of them are notable players with deep league results. JYJ in particular seems quite weak when compared to a player like Mind or somebody of that caliber. Of course, there you see their coach, and their coach clearly more of an Africa player. All of his results and career stuff coming here in the last couple years in the Africa age of Brood War. And so now we will get ready to move into some of our introductions and game number 1. Alright, so we can see for first game of MPL, we have ForGG facing off against Last on Polaris Rhapsody. So spawning in the top left-hand position as our Teal Terran, we have ForGG. Played Brood War for a while, known for his timing attacks, especially in TVP, would almost always do some 4, 5, 6-fact type variant. Love to do that kind of style of play. And then went on to play SC2, and then has recently come back to Brood War. Still streams on Twitch sometimes, although not as much as Firebit here, but he was one of the first Korean players to do that. And in the bottom right-hand position, needing no introduction, we have Last, the second strongest Brood War player, certainly the second strongest Terran player out there right now. He made it to the round of 4 in KSL. Or, sorry, was it round of 4? Yeah, round of 4 in KSL. Unfortunately, has been struggling with some wrist pain, apparently, recently. And also, apparently, he was given a lot of abuse. He 4-0'd Jaedong a while back in KSL. and used 111 for that. And apparently Jaedong's fans were like pretty aggressive and not very friendly here to last, showing here a little bit of ForGG's win rates. I'm not sure what statistics they're pulling from. I think his pro career is the bottom career, and I don't know what. Oh, I guess they're maybe showing his pro career stats on Polaris Rhapsody. I love that they took their photo shoot in like the old school StarCraft outfits. That's really funny. Those are like old school, like 2000 outfits. And of course, there we have last. Wow, 80%. Who would have thought? Yeah, his Kespo win rates not quite so powerful. Last was not the juggernaut then that he is today. He has really improved in the Africa age. So, unimpressive looking stats here. Don't let them fool you. Those are not representative of Last's true abilities. Of course, if his wrist is giving him a hard time, then who knows? We have an SCV scout going out here for Last, or for ForGG rather, who has his barracks started, has his gas. Looks like the same for Last. Both of them with fairly forward racks. That just decreases the float time, makes it nice and easy to float those barracks on out. And they are going to give each other a little kiss. Obviously, ForGG scouting just a little bit faster. And let's see, we do have, yeah, we've got gas for both players. Factory starting now for ForGG. And probably for Last as well. Actually, both players just now. That was literally identical factory timing. Did you see that gas drop? The exact same moment they built their factories. So both players are going to see just the basics. No crazy cheese shenanigans, no missing buildings. But pretty soon a Marine will be out and chase that SCV away, and then we will likely move into the floating barracks stage of the game, in which both players float their barracks and use that to scout, because of course this is DVT. We've got 2 SCVs pulled off gas actually here for Last, and it appears the same for ForGG. So I think we're going to see both players just kind of factory, maybe a vulture or so expanding. Obviously not moving into starport or heavy tank play or anything like that, because, well, without an add-on, without 2 SCVs on gas, you're just not going to do that. And there's the factory for, command center for Last and for ForGG. So both players here are going to throw down the expansion, and the barracks are floating over. Last is way ahead in the floating barracks game, though. ForGG did opt for an extra Marine, among other things. And now going to go to the bottom part of his base and build a starport. And first vulture is out for ForGG. Now it'll be interesting to see if he sends that vulture across the map or what. And meanwhile, Last is just expanding back at home, happy as can be. Adding a second factory. I wonder if they'll give us a shot. Are we going to get to see if there's an armory back in there for Last? Because he's definitely going to need more than just 1 Marine to deal with a few Wraiths from ForGG. Of course, off of 1 starport, this is far from a dedicated Wraith. It's not the kind of race where you think if you don't have an anti-air, you're like, oh my god, I'm going to die. It's more just like, oh, this is annoying. Vulture's going to run in here for ForGG, trying to get an SCV kill. He's okay, gets 1 SCV kill for a Vulture. That's probably not really worth it. So he kind of throws that away. He loses now map presence. That transfers over to Last, so Last will be pretty comfortable with this. And ForGG, interestingly, is not going to fly Last is not going to fly the barracks into the base directly. He's going to reposition it, or maybe even run away, which is surprising. I would have thought he would have wanted some more scouting intel. Tank wisely comes to the front here for ForGG, and that quickly deters the Vulture of Last. And now the Wraith is on the way. And ForGG is probably working on his siege mode, and we've got the armory out here for Last, so he will be able to get those Goliaths out, and he's getting an academy for scanners. And that Wraith is about to be flying in. We'll see if he can get an SCV kill or 2 with it. Of course, Wraiths really don't deal heavy damage, hitting for what? I think it's 8 damage against those SCVs, so it's going to be some just very slow bleeding here damage. And it's just going to be about the SCV pulls and repairs. Wraith is going for a kill. Oh, Last is a little slow to react. All right, there we go. We're pulling that Wraith. Oh, he's going for the repair. Is he going to get it? ForGG does get a kill there. Well, that's nice. That first Wraith shouldn't necessarily get a kill. I'm sure Last isn't thrilled with that. Grabbing 2 SCVs, doing a little repair. ForGG pivoting over. And now 2 Goliaths out. Will chase that Wraith away. Second Wraith is going to link up here. And these Wraiths, you know, he's not going to commit to these. These are more going to be for scouting, forcing the barracks to land, killing it, and possibly picking off any sort of stray units a bit later on. But I don't think we'll see a heavy commitment to raids from ForGG. Going to land the barracks, fly the Goliath over. Almost gets a few free shots off, but not quite able to get them in the end. And then a third factory here for last. And for the moment, both players content to sit at home. That won't last long. This is TVT, and position and control of the map are a huge deal in this matchup. If you sat back at home and defended, and the other player just set up tanks 2/3 of the way or 3/4 of the way across the map, you would basically shoot yourself in the foot from just the very start. Oh! Okay, ForGG sees it, and he is going to pivot away. But that was very close to being a nice catch for Last. And now Last is moving out on the map. Figures he probably has the stronger unit composition here because ForGG's invested 3 or 4 rounds of production into his Wraiths. And those are largely paper planes against ground units, especially when there's some Goliath support mixed in. But we can see that ForGG has opted for heavy tanks behind us. So he actually has a superior tank count to Last right now. But Last does have his army out on the map with a little bit more presence than does ForGG, and I'm sure we'll see ForGG here want to move across his bridges soon. He's probably waiting to get his siege mode, and then he's going to pop on out. I doubt he's just going to sit back like that and let Last just have the bridges for free. Last laying some nice mines around the map. He's got most of the key points covered. In fact, he has all the key points covered any way that ForGG can leave his base. Last now knows about... Oh, boy, oh, the Wraith's flying over the Goliath. He's going to lose one. Is he going to lose... Oh, no! Oh, wow, Last doesn't quite get the target firing right, and both Wraiths escape, and that's a big deal because those can always be repaired. So Last almost gets the snipes, but doesn't, and now, of course, with those mines there, Last knows that ForGG is moving around the side of the map here. So he's just going to move over and kind of just walk his army and zone ForGG out, and knowing ForGG, it looks like he has 5 factories. It appears Last might be going up to the same factory count, but ForGG likes to do these timing attacks, likes to play aggressively, and we will likely see that here. And again, he's going to try to move down here from the high ground, but Last with a massive vulture counter into the exposed natural of ForGG, and this is a huge loss. There aren't even other units here to slow the eye of the vulture. Now the vultures run back here for ForGG, and he is trying to target fire Last vultures, but Last is target firing SCVs of ForGG. The drill is pretty good, but Last captures a lot of SCVs, and the supply for ForGG absolutely plummets. They're showing the vision there. Last is all over this attack from ForGG, so this should go nowhere. And ForGG is going to be able to siege on the high ground, but he can't just leave his tanks there. That's not enough to take map presence. So Last is just going to happily siege up at his natural in this case and just hang out there. ForGG won't be able to push in any further, and this is fine. Now ForGG, it looks like, is going to leave a few tanks there. And then if you could swing around and contain the bridges, that would be great, but I think Last would have enough to break the contain on either side, so I don't think ForGG can just take map presence. But Last is wasting a few vultures in the center now. He's trying to micro his vultures out of range of the tanks here to weaken the vulture count of ForGG, and he kind of does that, but he does take some hits on his own. But then Last moving over here, sieging up on the high ground, and that will, of course, force ForGG away high ground with that 50% miss chance. Not something you're going to want to attack up into in all, but the most unique situations. Now, the position here for ForGG, he's got better position on the map right now, kind of, but it's very tenuous. He's got that bottom contained off, but he doesn't really have the contain in the center, so he doesn't really have complete map control. And there's just not enough units right now for ForGG to be able to take that either. And we see Last is setting up a third base, so already Last getting a bit of an advantage. That third base has a gas. So if ForGG is not going to do something highly aggressive, he needs to respond in kind quite quickly, or he's going to be at a significant disadvantage against Last. Already a bit behind in supplies after that nice vulture run by for Last. And that matters a bit more in early game TVT. Later on, that's not such a big deal. SCVs become more paperweights, but here we go. Last, ForGG moving in, but Last is sieging up his tanks. ForGG does have a bit of a high ground advantage here, but Last with 4 or 5 tanks siege and a spotter barracks coming over, this is not the kind of tank position you're going to break, and ForGG, we did see in that top right-hand side, is going to respond with a command center of his own, and that is at a double gas location, so that is significant. Now, I believe both of those geysers are 2500 gas, so they are half geysers, but they mine at double speed. So for a little while, ForGG will be at an advantage against Last, because gas is the big resource in TVT. Tanks, Goliaths, dropships, Wraiths, all heavy gas investment units. Vultures, yeah, you can make some few Vultures, but you don't really need mass Vultures in TVT. So that's what's kind of talking about too with SCVs. Gas is the big resource. If you lose some SCVs 20 minutes into a TVT, not only do you have 4 or 5 CCs in which to replace the SCVs with, it's mostly the gas that you can mine, and that only requires 3 SCVs. But at this stage, where Last got some of those kills, that was worth something, and you know, Last is still riding on the back of that 30 supply advantage. But keep in mind, TVT, most other matchups, watching the supplies are often a pretty decent indicator of how a match is going. But in TVT, sometimes you can be 30 supply down, and if you have better map position, it's great for you. And we can see Last, it almost has that better map position right now. Like, he has ForGG kind of choked off just about into the top right-hand side of the map. Now, ForGG has a few tanks at the bottom, and they're showing that ForGG is going to be adding a few starports, but we can see Last has cleaned up those tanks. So now consider that position. As those 3 tanks die, Last has the right side of the map, and he is also zoning right now at the bridges. The Rays of ForGG are going to push this back for a little while, but remember, there are Goliaths out on the map here, so those are going to come over and chase these Wraiths away. He's got a scan, and ForGG is going to lose 1, maybe 2 Wraiths. Goliath range is pretty crazy. The starport's going down from ForGG to counter these Wraiths of Last, but Last is switching more into heavy Wraith play, and Last has control of the map. So this is a terrible situation for ForGG, because not only does Last have more of the map, and particularly control of those center double bridges, Last is also at a 30 supply advantage. So when you put those two together, Last is sitting really beautiful. Now ForGG is killing off that spotter barracks, and that is kind of cool. Actually, it looks like ForGG, or Last wants to move in here. This is a pretty strong tank line here from ForGG, but Last has a lot of tanks. He has a few Goliaths in there to tank as well, and it looks like he is going to break that line and inch his position forward. Now he's sieging on the low ground, which is definitely an issue. He's going to try to use these Wraiths to help with this here, but ForGG's tank's much stronger, and also without the, well, I guess he's still got the spotter barracks alive, as I say. If he lost that spotter barracks, then he wouldn't even be able to see up the high ground, which would allow ForGG to do some very, very annoying things with sieging his tanks forward in the dark and getting free shots off before Last can see them. Now, both players are playing off 3 starports, so one dynamic to watch here is if a player starts incorporating Valkyries. And right as I say that, we see that Last has a Valkyrie, because a couple Valkyries incorporated to get off good volleys can just decimate the Wraith counts of another player. ForGG getting the better of that exchange at the bottom left. Neither player opting for a 4th base yet. But remember, ForGG right now is in this short time period where he has a subtle gas advantage. But just look at Last. He's got this position here. Oh, if he has the Wraith support, his position is pretty solid. He's got the prior siege up, but there are a few Vultures in there, and of course these Wraiths are now going to come in with the turret down, but Last is going to come over and he's going to get some volleys off with these Valkyries, and Valkyrie damage splashes so big, the Wraiths from ForGG are just going to evaporate here. Look at that. Just a few Valkyrie shots is all it takes, and Last maintains his position on all of the chokes of the map. Last in control of 2/3 of the map. ForGG has only 4 expansions available to him. Last has his whole side, plus basically the top 2 as well, and just much more position to work with. This game is really getting bad for ForGG. Last moves right up on top of that high ground. Beautiful siege positions, and there's nothing to stop the rampaging Wraiths picking off the tanks of ForGG, who is losing almost all control of the game. In fact, it almost feels like Last isn't even too far away from steamrolling him. More and more tanks are falling. Wraith volleys going down, or Valkyrie volleys going down here. You could pick off the science facility. There are Goliaths being rushed out for ForGG. We're going to have another Wraith engagement, but Last is moving forward now, trying to go all the way for the killing blow into the natural choke. Cloak for both players, but again, that Valkyrie just adding damage, and look how easily Last takes these fights with those Valkyries getting off good shots. And now ForGG choked out and 60 supply down. I can't help but think we are going to see GG here sooner rather than later. Maybe he'll stay till his 4th base is defended. But yeah, Last is going to move right up onto that high ground, and ForGG just has to evacuate, which means his third base is done for. So he's going to be on 2 bases. We can see Last is double expanding in bottom center and bottom left behind this attack. And the tanks from Last moving forward, clearing out those last tanks. And there it is, GG. And Last puts up his team, Seliver, I'm not sure how you say it, but puts his team up. Panning to Last cam, Last happy to get that win behind his hurting wrist. So that is a nice win, and that will bring us towards Game 2. Because we are on VOD and I can't speak Korean, we can roll through this here. We'll get our player preview here. We have Duksun versus Foreign Hope Cadenzie saying, come on, come get me. And, of course, it is on Fighting Spirit. Here we go. Hana saying GG, Cadenzie saying GG. Cadenzie for Team Seliver. If Cadenzie wins this, they'll be up 2-0. And we have in the top, well, bottom left-hand corner, Koreans always do that, it's like a tease. In the bottom left-hand corner, as the White Zerg, we have Hana for Team ENG. And for Team Seliver, in the top right-hand corner, as the purple Protoss, we have Cadenzie. And Cadenzie, if you've been following, doesn't need much introduction, but she is a foreign player. Trying to remember, I want to say Scotland, but somewhere UK, Ireland, Scotland-ish area of Europe. And she went over to Korea a while ago, about 6 months to a year ago, and she has been there. She was already decent to begin with, but she has been practicing quite a bit over there and has gotten even stronger. She won the most recent LASL, or Ladies ASL, the premier the premier Korean female tournament. So she is one of the stronger players. They're actually showing here that Hana has an abysmal versus Zerg win rate in whatever all-time stats they're pulling from. Obviously, these are not Kespa stats, so I'm not sure what these stats are. And Cadenzie is pretty decent ZVZ. So we have a overpool here for... an overpool here for Hana, and Cadenzie looks like it's going to be 12 pool or 12 hatch. We're just going to have to watch what is going on there. It looks like it's going to be 12 hatch for Cadenzie. So this should be okay for Cadenzie, especially cross spawns. Overpool is not usually fast enough, and if it's layer first, then it'll be really, really comfortable for Cadenzie in terms of economic issues. We'll just have to wait and see how that first gas is utilized. But I think Cadenzie will be feeling pretty comfortable. They're showing here, look at the difference in stats. Cadenzie 13 and 2, 71% overall. Like I said, one of the strongest female players. They're actually showing that versus, maybe this is versus Hana, she has a 100% win rate. Yeah, because they've got map stats and they've got like overall stats, but I'm saying that versus the Korean name is probably, is that Hana's name? Yeah, it is Hana's name, I think. Looks like it. Yeah, so they're saying that Cadenzie's never lost to Hana here. And she does go for layer first with her first 100 speed, or first 100 gas, if I saw correctly. I was looking a bit at that graphic, but let's see here. We'll just watch to see if 100 gas disappears again for Hana. Yeah, okay, so Hana went layer first, so this is very comfortable for Cadenzie. Absolutely no chance for Hana to do anything dangerous, and Cadenzie is going to be playing at a significant economic advantage with access to a much faster second gas. Now, one thing that can sometimes happen in this situation is obviously Hana's going to have faster mutas. Cadenzie is going to need to make a spore colony or two, that kind of thing, if she doesn't play aggressively with lings. Cadenzie has the option to be aggressive with lings, mass ling, try to force Hana back, but if it goes straight into muta, those will pop out, and it's difficult because Cadenzie can have 2 gas and can grow bigger than Hana, but sometimes you'll see players like Hana play it where they quickly expand behind those muta at a point where Cadenzie would not have those mutalisks, and that allows them to get down their expansion, and then they harass the natural gas of Cadenzie with their superior muta count and basically make it so that Cadenzie is forced on 1 gas, and then it's very difficult / impossible to ever get back ahead in muta count. There's a variety of ways to play it, but we first need to see what Cadenzie's committed to. Her first ling is running in, so now she's going to know, okay, there's no hatchery, and yes, you've been making lings almost the entire time. Beautiful scout by Cadenzie. Okay, she's going to get in. She's going to see that even more lings are being made. She's going to run that around, and she is going to pull a few drones. It might just be a transfer, though. We've got a creep colony. No, that's probably a spire, right? All right, here we go. Cadenzie is setting up her links. Cadenzie is not opted for link speed, so she's focusing very much on Muta. Hana immediately pulls back, though. So despite the link speed advantage, Hana does not want to commit to anything, and that is the spire for Cadenzie. Oh, that spire timing is not all that different. That's probably what they're pointing out. And on top of this, Hana is forced to get a creep colony here, so Cadenzie is at a very, very large advantage at this point. The Muta timing is different enough as to be insignificant. Now, the gas differential between both players is pretty large. That will give Hana a few extra additional Muta, but Cadenzie might just make a few Scourge. There's a variety of options here, and of course she will be saving up now the initial investment into those Muta here for Hana. And Cadenzie now comes across the map with her lings. Now remember, Hana's made a lot of lings, and she's also made a creep back there. So her economy's bad, but she will not really be in danger from this ling attack from Cadenzie unless she micros very poorly. So Cadenzie's going to come up here. She's going to try to break up the ramp. I don't think... Well, maybe she is going to commit to this, but the Muta pop, once the Muta come over here, I'm almost certain she'll run away. There'll be no sense in staying, yeah. And there's just a few too many lings at the ramp. So now Cadenzie's Spire is finishing, and looks like she's going to start a few Muta. I wonder if it'll be interesting to see if she makes some Scourge. But it looks like her Muta count is similar, and it appears that right now the weak link for Hana is actually her gas count right now. And Hana's just going to pick off that Overlord for Cadenzie. We can see Hana has evacuated her Overlord quite a long time ago. And oh, Cadenzie finds a little weak point here in this ramp, but not quite a weak enough weak point. So the defense continues for Hana. It's just fine. And remember, there is that sunken colony in the main for future issues. But with that low drone count, if Cadenzie does trickle out lings and other things, that will be problematic. Looks like we're showing 4 Muta for Cadenzie here. Looks like 3 or 4 for Hana. Supplies have converged a little bit. Is that 4? Okay, so Cadenzie's on an equal Muta count right now with double gas. This is so bad for Hana. Like, there's no way Hana can actually do anything. The best she can hope for... Oh, but she's actually fighting. This is madness from Hana. Cadenzie has a superior Muta count, and there's an Overlord to soak Splash. So Cadenzie should be just fine here. Hana basically throws her Muta away, and that just... The game just goes to Cadenzie. Like, she should GG. Now, not quite the caliber of a Korean player, but Cadenzie's double gassed. Hana is whatever. I don't know what Hana was thinking there. That attack was just a colossal failure. The only thing Hana could really do is like hope to get Cadenzie out of position, get some drone kills, stuff like that. But now Cadenzie should just fly across the map and end Hana. Maybe some really poor micro from Cadenzie could change that. Will she even pick off the Overlord, or does she just want the killing blow? No, she sent... Oh, okay, she does decide to kill the Overlord. She's not going to get hasty. She's going to just consolidate her advantage. Microing around, picking that off, showing some good control. You can see Hana is just kind of chilling there with her Muta. She knows that Overlord is dying. I feel like she's looking into the camera or something, but maybe that's just where her mini-map or her computer screen is. Her eyes keep glancing over there. Alright, here comes Cadenzie. We've got some splitting of Scourge. And let's see here what kind of Muta shots we can get. But I think the numbers are just way too high for Cadenzie, just keeping those Muta microing around in case Scourge pop, but they are not. So Hana is overrun, and GG is on the way. Okay, so Hana's going to wait for this ling counter to peter out. Obviously, she's completely out of resources. Cadenzie's lings there. Hana is microing like crazy, but there's too many lings for sure. She's going to get a drone kill or two. There it is, GG. And Cadenzie takes it. The foreign hope of female StarCraft gaming puts Seliver up 2-0. And we are going to need to switch to actually the next VOD for the continuation of this series. And who are we going to have playing against each other? Looks like we have Ample versus GGaemo. Conects, who is being abbreviated ENG. I wonder if it's like English Conects. I'm just curious about that ENG abbreviation. So we're going to have Sashin, aka Ample, against GGaemo. Alright, so in the bottom right-hand corner, of the swastika map, New Sniper Ridge, we have Sashin. And in the top left-hand corner, as our purple Zerg, we have GGaemo. GGaemo, known famously as, well, many other things, but there's a famous image of him with his mouth ridiculously open in shock, where he had a whole control group of Hydra that walked in and just exploded to one mine. It was like the entire army he had at the point. It was really funny. Yeah, you can probably search for that, just GGaemo, like jaw or GGaemo GIF or whatever, and you'll find it. And Ample is kind of a, I want to call him like a semi-pro Terran player. So, I don't know. GGaemo is a little bit more old school. I mean, he kept playing, but his career burned the brightest earlier on in Kespa days. It was not at its peak in like 09, 10, 11, and he certainly has not had any results to speak of in Afrika era StarCraft. So, and neither has Ample for that matter. So neither of these players at the top flight of their games. I don't really know how to predict a win. I'm curious to see if they'll have any stats they can bring us that would be insightful or interesting. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect. And of course, the main feature of Sniper Ridge are all the high ground pods. Pods is probably the wrong word for that, but high ground ridges that you can camp. There are ridges right outside the natural, which makes lurkers or tanks or things like that on the high ground very powerful in that sense. So Cadenzie of a natural are very powerful on this map. And then there's also those mid-high ground pods that offer a lot of pushing dynamics, trying to sit on and control those. And of course there's the center base on the high ground, and then you have your third base that also sits on high ground through some reasonably narrow chokes. Of course, the Overlord for GGaemo is going to scout wrong because they're cross maps. That'll make GGaemo happy, though. He's going to see this SCV coming in and will infer that Terran is probably in the bottom right-hand position, given normal SCV timings, which is what we saw. And we see 15 supply for Ample here, no gas, so we are looking at just a Rax expand, no 1-1-1 type play. And GGaemo has his hatch up and running. He's got a pull down. We should see him making accumulating a few minerals and then making another hatchery. So everything looks like a pretty normal opening. I think we're going to see something like a standard macro game. So they are showing that Ample's rate here in 2018 is well, you know, whatever. But interestingly, and atypically for a Terran, he seems a bit weak against Zerg, which is quite fascinating. But if we look at GGaemo, we see that his win rates are sadly even worse versus Terran. 2018, it looks like 38%. I mean, these are probably spawn match or similar statistics. That's quite a large sample size of games. Now, what we don't know, and it doesn't, you know, we can't know everything about this because we don't know who he's playing. You know, like if he's playing all of these spawn matches against Flash, suddenly that 38% doesn't look so bad. I mean, we see oftentimes players like Efforts and Sulky hovering around 40% against Flash and Last. So without knowing who he's playing against, that isn't conclusive, but they have pretty large pools. So if they're playing against similar opponents, that would make me think that even though Ample seems a bit weak TVZ, that he's still more the favored player than is GGaemo. Of course, that is GGaemo on the right, Ample on the left there of the players they're showing back at home. This is all being played online until we get to, I believe, the finals. A few Lings trying to sneak in, not going to happen. So shuts those down. And we have the third base and the lair up here for GGaemo. And looks like we have a large building in the right-hand side there for Ample. So it looks like +1 racks coming in here from Ample. And I guess the only thing we would like to see is if there's going to be a Hydra Den. But it looks like we're going to see 2 Hatchery Mutalisk from, or 3 Hatchery Mutalisk standard play from GGaemo. So very standard game. That is indeed the Engineering Bay, and we see the Academy going down there around 420. So if you guys are looking for a good example game of execution, you're new to Terran or Zerg, this is a pretty good one to look at for your timings of when you want the various buildings to be getting out, because that is, of course, the game timer they are showing there. And, all right, let's see, a few Marines coming out there. I did believe they did pick off the Overlord there for GGaemo. Yeah, we can see he's at a supply block, an unplanned supply block, so that is a bit annoying. Barracks are being added here for Ample. We should see more than 3 given the fast +1. 3 barracks with a slower eBay used to be the old school standard, more back in Kespa days, particularly before about 2010, where +1 5-racks started to be a thing. Before then, they were playing mostly off of 2 3-racks tech, so faster tank vessel pushes, whereas this style, which is slightly more modern, focuses more on lots of Marines early, basically moving out to get the Muta off your back, and then pressuring Zerg's third base. So GGaemo doing a little bit of micro here, trying to find some spots in the natural. He can come and pick at SCVs, but Ample pretty on top of that, blocking that off just fine with his Marine movements. And notice there the position of that depot, just nice little walling, reduces the area in case there's a bunch of Lings out there and tries to do a run by. He's pretty safe. Scan goes down at a good timing to see that Spire, still a little ways away from completion. And starting to trickle out the medics and Marines, and it looks like based on that timing there's a possibility that Ample's going to get out on the map before Muta come out, and that's always a bit annoying for Zerg. It's nicer if you can get 2 Terran space before he moves out and force him to defend your harass a little bit. We see a pretty fast factory off of 4 racks, so this is still going to have some timing. Those medics, I don't know where they're going. But right now, Ample doesn't want to commit to anything. He's just kind of moving up onto the high ground, getting a little more vision. And he's also, I think, a little bit worried about a counterattack. So he's just moving out a little bit, trying to bait GGaemo. Like, come on, if you got stuff, now's your chance. And then he's actually just very close to home. But yeah, he's out on the map. So GGaemo is going to have to fight this army in the center if he wants his third base. He could turn to cover harass, but there's already a few turrets up, and that probably wouldn't be very effective. So GGaemo finds this, no mistakes with his Muta, runs in there, picks off a Marine, nice first shot, and Ample stimming and then clustering up his Marine medic, and GGaemo circles around to the backside. That's always a nice way of playing it. You know, you just move around with those Muta, be unexpected, pick off reinforcements, just try to be as tricky as possible. We can see already Ample defending a little bit, moving those Marines into the main base, and then stimming and running down, now linking up his 2 armies. Now quite a few Marine and Medic in that army, almost 2 groups, and that is a very scary Marine and Medic army. It cannot be handled with just Mutalisks unless Terran really struggles. Muta goes down there for GGaemo, so not the best start, is getting a couple Marine shots. But again, if you're losing a Muta every time you do that, it's not good. You see a few more Muta being made. The Hydra are being rushed to that base, but it's just 1. You need to see 3 or 4 over there. And Ample is already almost halfway to that base. Definitely going to beat the Hydra, and it actually looks like GGaemo is kind of abandoning that idea, realizing he's not going to be able to defend that base. Yeah, he doesn't even make it down there. Does not have a base making anywhere else. So Ample off to a good start in this game, forcing GGaemo to play off of those 2 bases. And now he's just going to zone back. He sent a Marine over there, kills that drone. So not going to get like ninja'd and like forget about the expansion and then suddenly have it go up. We can see his starport is on the, or his science facility is on the way. He's got a starport. And now with 2 Hydrals over here, it looks like there's a pretty good chance GGaemo will be able to secure a 3rd base here at the alternate main. Yeah, he's getting a few lurkers morphed up, and unless Ample comes in like a crazy kamikaze man, he's going to be fine. We can see Ample is going to link up his Marine and Medic again, though. And then he will have a very large army in the center. And remember, we're not that far away from a tank being done. Oh, this is a bit vulnerable, though. That's a lot of Lings, and this is a small grouping this far away from the army. But it actually looks like we're maybe just going to go around behind for a counter. Surprisingly, some vultures there, but he needs to stim and get into that bunker. Muta already picking that off. Pretty scary counter here from GGaemo. Let's see what damage gets done with that. But we're going to have a counter from Ample as well. Ample's just saying, fuck it, I'm going for home. But there's already 1 lurker there, and there's a possible second one. These Lings are going to get on top of the barracks and pick off a hell of a lot of Marines. And if Ample has great micro, this could be dangerous. He assassinates 1 lurker very fast. He's moving forward, trying to dive on top of the other one, and he gets it. And this looks like it's going to break the front for GGaemo. But at the same time, all reinforcements dying for Ample as the micro is focused elsewhere. The lurkers are forced to be recalled here to defend. There will obviously be no reinforcements, but this is incredible damage over the barracks. Ample losing all of his production, and without sending any army back, he's not going to be getting production back up. So this feels like it's do or die here for Ample, who is completely overrun back at home. And with 3 lurkers coming back here, actually no, the lurkers are going to come in also over the racks. Never mind, I thought they were coming back to defend. They are coming back to just completely shut down everything. So this game is flipped on its head. Definitely production is shut down. Vessel's a long ways away from coming. Drones are being pulled. This is being whittled down, and I think this will eventually get cleaned up, although maybe not. You know, without a few more lings, drones are getting some good shots, but 5 medics worth of healing is a hell of a lot of healing. So Sashin is going to break through, but a lurker gets burrowed. A second lurker trying to burrow, and this is going to get cleaned up with just 3 left, and the Muta coming back now. He does get a few vessels out. Well, this is actually out of lings, but man, the production here for Sashin has been extremely crippled. But if Sashin clears his main, Ample ignored GGaemo ignored the third base, or sorry, the natural, and with the tank now out and all those lings having run out, I thought he was going to keep all those alive, but apparently not. With the natural still alive, Sashin would rebuild pretty quickly. Muta going to dive on that tank. That's important because, well, the tank can clear out lurkers extremely easily. Now, the vessels can as well once a radiate is done. So the game plan right now for GGaemo is to reinforce the crap out of this. So radiate goes down, pretty good quick split. One of the vessels, oh, terrible vessel there from Ample. No pullback at all. And the lurkers just continue to inch forward here. Now, he hasn't disrupted the mining, so it's all about the production. Muta run in, a bit of an overextension there. Actually, a double overextension, as both of these lurkers are in range of that bunker. He's going to have to move them back. All right, now he's going to go to the natural. He's going to hunt the SCVs, try to catch them as they run, at least shut down one base of mining. But the economy for GGaemo is really bad. Wow. Oh, no, for a second I thought he was actually going to fight this with SCVs. He actually is fighting at least one of them with SCVs, and it kind of paid off. Reinforcing now with a single lurker, but I think the position has turned out pretty good here for Ample at this point. GGaemo's economy is just too bad. You know, Ample just kind of turtles, comes back to his natural here in a little bit with a few vessels, a few irradiates, and then he's just got way too much to be stopped. I mean, yeah, losing the barracks is going to slow him down a bit, but his tech is so great. I mean, vessels and tanks are so powerful against this. It's not like GGaemo can afford to make a bunch of lings or anything like that. Like, he needs drones. We've even got a few Marines being sent over to this third base. Of course, the lurkers were pulled earlier to assist the attack. Wow, actually canceling the starport in favor of re-adding those barracks back over there. So yeah, third base shut down. So we got GGaemo mining from one base. He is annoying that command center. The vessel is coming over, throws down an irradiate, which just buys time. Going to allow him to retreat that command center a little further. Wow, look at that. Kind of cute. Ample is walling that medic in a little bit in case a few Zerglings are spawned over there from GGaemo. But actually, well, I was going to say that I was going to bring the mutas back, but GGaemo just says, no, I got like 3 drones in the main. GG. So GGaemo almost flips that game off the head and takes a surprise win, but in the end, not quite able to get it done. And we can see Ample looks pretty relieved there, pretty excited to have taken that game and given his team their first point, I believe. Yes, indeed, we see the score is at 2-1. So we'll lead to our next match here. Mind versus Hyuk. Ooh, so ENG Conects versus Seliver's Hyuk, or ENG Conects Mind versus Seliver's Hyuk. And this one, I gotta give the nod to Mind. Bit more established player, strong player, pretty dangerous. And Hyuk is reestablishing himself. He had a few wins in BJ Destruction recently. Has not made it far in either ASL or KSL, whereas Mind has tended to have better results there, and it's just, you know, the overall stronger player. I mean, there's no doubt that Mind is the favorite here. And wow, is this like Sin Chapok Ryong or something like that? I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but wow, if this is the map it looks like, is one of the maps where the famous Holy Wars between Nara and Savior were played on. But very old school map, very old school, over a decade old. This is like 2005, 2006 era maps. So I'll be very curious to see how this pans out. Interesting that this map was included. So there's Mind showing off his win rate here. We can see versus Zerg, he is at 62.8%. His win rate is really lagging versus all. He's got a 1-0 record versus Hyuk. He's 100% versus Zerg on this map. I wonder where they're pulling these stats from. But either way, you know, showing Mind off as a very solid Terran, particularly as a very solid TVZer. I guess it seems like he must be lacking in TVP then, because I know his TVT is okay, but TVZ is obviously his crown jewel, at least taken from these stats, which is quite a large sample of 200 matches. So, Mind playing his crown jewel matchup here. And expansion goes down for Hyuk. That is going to be a 12 hatch. And what is Mind responding with? He's got a barracks. It does not look like we see gas, so Mind, it looks like, just wants to expand himself. Kind of a non-standard map, not going to take any risks doing a very technical, difficult build like 1-1-1, where you have to, not exactly cut corners, but be very careful and respond correctly because Zerg has a lot of options. Showing a bit of Hyuk's win rates there as well. Which looked to be 25% versus Terran, which is not particularly encouraging. And rocking around with that SCV. Oh wow, that is a weird place to build a bunker. Oh, never mind. It's not back at home. Sorry, that was my bad. I was going to say, that would be a weird place to build a defensive bunker, but this is an offense bunker. This is a bunker rush. We've got the drones pulled here for Hyuk. And the bunker is actually going to finish, and it looks like it's going to get garrisoned. Oh, he's trying to get on top of him at the last moment. No, both Marines should hop into the bunker. Okay, that's not exactly what Hyuk wanted for a start. Pool is still a ways away. Bunker's done. I don't know if that bunker's in range. It's not in range. So Mind going to continue this and try to start another bunker in range? Nope, I guess he's just going to go back home and try to get a few drone kills out of this. Runs for the bunker. He's going to probably get another drone. Oh, but wow, ninja shot by Hyuk. Actually gets one of those bunkers. And oh, that Overlord could die. If he sees it and puts 3 Marines under it, he can assassinate it. Now, still a Marine in there. All right, so he's going for it. Oh, the reaction from Hyuk is slow. That should die. The Lings are being really stupid. But the Overlord going down is a big deal for Hyuk. Welcome to Supply Block City. Now the Lings are going for it, and the loss of that second Marine ends up being a big deal because with 2 Marines in there, that would have died, or could have killed most of those Lings, but without, with just 1, then not so bad. Sorry, train of thought completely died here. That supply block, very annoying for Hyuk, and it's a decently long supply block too. He reacted kind of slowly, and that Overlord died rather fast, so he has to wait for almost an entire Overlord build time, which is a lot of waiting, especially this early in the game, to have your economy that crippled. Very painful loss here for Hyuk that he is not excited about. So Overlord finally pops, he can make a few more units, but we see he's not started any tech yet, no lair, has not been able to use that gas. Looks like he is going to go lair first, so no all-ins. Should see a lair now from Hyuk. I don't know why it's late, that's weird. It's a lot of gas to bank. Hyuk is still not spending his gas. Maybe he already started Ling Speed and he's just banking? It's very strange banking of gas from Hyuk. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to go Ling all in. He does have speed. So Mind is, pulling SCVs to defend here soon. Will he scout this? Alright, so Hyuk does start his lair behind this, but that's going to be a pretty slow lair. Mind has not seen this yet. But he is up his ramp, which is basically going to save his ass. And the bunker is well garrisoned. Wow, this defense is like perfect for Mind. I don't even think the bunker is going to fall. So that goes nowhere for Hyuk. And Mind now at a massive lead. Now the only thing he's got to watch, maybe, well, that's a bit stupid here. Mind is going to end up losing a few Marines here, but Hyuk is overextending a bit with these Lings, really trying to get something done. Might have been worth it if Mutas were spawning right now, but Mutas are definitely not spawning right now. Lair is in its infancy, so Hyuk is in a terrible position at this point. He's only on 2 hatch. He's got a very late lair. He's done no damage. Mind is casually mining from his CC. The only thing he's got going for him is the natural is very open, and it's pretty easy to be annoying with Lings, but Mind's defensive position is great. Hyuk is going for that SCV. He's not going to get it. Mind, I'm wondering where Mind's medics are, though. He really needs some medics with this army. Alright, so there we go. There's some abuse of the wide natural. It's pretty hard to cover everything with bunker. He's finding some spots in there where he can go pick off SCVs, and Mind is actually just going to try to drill on the Lings in the natural and kill off all of them. Does get a few SCVs out of it. And, I mean, Mind's economy is not amazing, but Hyuk is really hurting. And he goes in for more SCVs. Hyuk just really wants to pressure the SCVs. But, yeah, you can see Hyuk abusing the wide natural. It is annoying, but it's costing him a lot to do this. Because every time he does this and gets nothing, that's just more drones Hyuk doesn't have. And his economy just stays weak, and we can see Mind is almost double his supply, and now Mind has medics. And oh, actually Hyuk is not opted to go for meaties, opted to go for lurkers and do some sort of a bust here, abusing this wide natural, which is not a terrible decision. Really hard to, you can't, it's not like Fighting Spirit where you can just make 2 bunkers and say, oh, I'm safe. It's like, if you build 2 bunkers, there's still lots of ways Hyuk can go around it or cause problems. But a second bunker is going up for Mind upon the scan. And look at Mind just carefully dancing like 2 Marines forward, just trying to inch these Zerglings away from his natural. Getting those bunkers up and probably getting some tech up behind this. And he's going to stem forward. And has he trapped these off, or is there an exit path from the natural? I forget. Oh, he's going to move up, but he is fighting from the low ground. Hyuk wants the surround, or yeah, Hyuk wants the surround, doesn't get it. And actually that just leads to GG. Knows there's enough defense here, and his economy is so bad that there's no alternative. So they're showing us a little shot here of Mind after his victory, just running his Marines around. So Mind gets it done. And squares up the series.
Conects.
Rain, our resident leading Protoss.
Secret.
And we're about to have Rain versus Secret. MPL Season 2. Rain looking to win it for his team. Actually, no, it's best of 7. This is not match point. Rain looking to put ENG up. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Rain. And in the top left someday corner, no, they want to really talk about Rain. Because Rain is the reigning Protoss champion. He is still, no, he's no longer the reigning, never mind. And in the top left-hand corner, we have File? What? Okay, well, I didn't expect him to go by the name of File, but alright. We have Secret, who is going to go by File, whatever. Is this Eye of the Storm? I think it's Eye of the Storm. Another old school-ish map. Looks like Eye of the Storm. Which has a very difficult to get out of choke. Lurker contains, I'm thinking PVZ because that pops into my head. Wow. Wow, that's really surprising. Rain's record on this map is terrible, and his record versus Protoss, from whatever they're showing here, I would love to know what sample of games this is really bad. Not what you'd expect from the best Protoss. Perhaps these games are from Kispa era or something else. I would love to know where these stats came from, although it would be weird to take Kispa stats. But either way, Rain looks really weak based on whatever stats they are showing us here. I would not be fooled by that. Rain is a little bit better than that. In fact, Secret has a better rate shown here. And he's won his only ever game on this map. So that is encouraging for Secret, although a lot more goes into it than that. Let's wait. Yeah, both players have gas. All right, so normal there. Yeah, pretty sure this is Eye of the Storm. But yeah, Lurker contains are very powerful here. Any contains are really, because it's a very tight choke. It's very easy to set up a contain, and you're just really filed in there. So a core starts ASAPly here for Rain. And with both players cross spawns, super aggressive plays are not quite as powerful, a little easier to defend. Wow, these commentators are just losing it over these scouting probes. We're gonna have a probe kiss. Alright, so they have a little romantic moment and continue on their way. That was more like just like a kiss before work kind of thing. That wasn't like a makeout session. Sometimes probes have like big time makeout sessions sent to the map. Not this time. So Rain actually is really preparing for this. He's putting a pylon there to tighten off his choke walling. And possibly that's to deny scouting, but probably that's to defend. Wow, look at the movements here from Secret, who is doing some incredible probe denial here. Is he actually going to block Rain from even seeing what is behind this? Normally that's impossible to do, but these movements are unbelievably good. But in the end, Rain gets in. It's It's hard. It takes 3 hits. If Azella did it in 2 hits, that blocking would be really scary. Now, Rain has opted for something a little different here. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that was tight, but it does lessen the wall and make it a little easier to defend. We see, of course, it is a flat map. Is that a second gateway? Wow, they didn't actually click on it yet. I'm pretty sure it's a second gateway. Probe dies very, very fast there for Secret, for File, for whatever. I don't know what he wants to go by. Oh, and wait, what? Oh, no, never mind. That's Secret Space. I thought the pylon was, like, killed off. I was like, what? Rain already killed his own pylon? Huh? Oh, and he canceled it. He's faking a second gate and going DTs. What? That is wild. Okay, so 2-gate play, I mean, is somewhat common on reverse ramp or on flat maps, right? Because the pressure of goons is a lot stronger. There's no ramp. You can get arcs, and especially on a map like this, with a kind of narrow, difficult to get out of choke, it's pretty powerful. So he faked that, but then he's thrown a Citadel behind it, and he's going to go DTs. Now, the downside for File, or for Rain, rather, is that File started a Robo. So unless File does something very greedy, like straight to reverse skipping OBS, which is not impossible against 2-gate, it's going to be very good for Rain. Oh, Rain gets the first shot here, so File's going to have to run away from this, or Rain is going to get a Dragoon pickoff. In fact, File isn't even trying to get shots. Now, he's adding a second gateway, is File, so that looks like an OBS is going to be out for him, and that will prevent Rain's DTs from doing any significant damage early on. File should just be wanting to sit home. Yeah, he's going Robo. The commentators are super excited about that, but we already kind of inferred that from the gateway that was up. So File should be fine, should be comfortable. But of course, Rain will just immediately expand behind this. And oh, Rain is really trying to sneak this in, but File's on top of it. Rain is not able to see the expansion. So Rain doesn't get any scouting intel from that other than the fact that he knows File is not going DT because those Dragoons had range. So, of course, a very fast forge for Rain. That is necessary when going for Dark Templar. You have to do it. Because otherwise, if your opponent's going DT, you just die. You also don't really have a counter if your opponent makes an OBS. You need to have those cannons. Okay, so then they show the support bay. And that's normal. That's what you'd expect. DT is out for Rain. And you get this situation where File can come in with his Reaver and go for the cannons and try to bust, and then Rain defends with storms. Wow, Rain fortunately moves that Dragoon back just in time. Oh boy! So the OBS from File narrowly missing that DT. I hope File made a second OBS, because if File didn't make a second Observer, then this DT is actually... Oh, he has. Okay. Oh, no, but File's across the map. Whoa, this is going to get wild. Okay, so the DT is coming in. Rain has made a second DT, but remember, there's an OBS there. There are 2 cannons that might be enough to defend, especially with a third one finishing, but the DT is flat. Whoa, okay, Rain. Oh, my God. So File really needs a break here, because this DT is going to do some serious damage for Rain. The OBS popping in a very opportune time here for File. And wow, all right, so the probe chase initially is pretty good, but this is going to be very distracting for File. If File goes in and tries to micro the bust, he's going to lose all of his probes. So it's like one of those situations where basically Rain is getting the better of this because he's able to get up his cannons and get a few pickoffs with these probes. Now, fairly well handled there by File, who's going to pull his OBS back. He's doing a good job faking like he doesn't have an OBS here, so he is going to get a DT snipe, which is going to be nice. But he's not able to break Rain, and that was a good exchange for Rain. Rain has the faster command center. He got 3 or 4 probe kills. He got some value out of that DT. You don't need a ton of kills to get value out of your DT. They're not cheap, but they're not like crazy expensive. So yeah, Rain is sitting all right. He's got his High Templar out. He'll have Storms. He should be able to defend the initial Reaver here from File. But I have to give File props. He handled that pretty well. He sensed the DT, he noticed it quickly, he turned his OBS around, and he controlled his probes rather nicely to take minimal damage. Something that's not easy to do. If you're not careful, it's very easy to lose, 5, 6, 7, 8 probes to a DT, even if you're right there microing, just because of how quickly they shred probes. And File is going for an interesting decision here, which is a fast third base to get back in the game. And that is an interesting decision, and it might work out because Well, Rain, before he moves out, you know, he's got a fast expansion, he's got his high Templar energy, but before he moves out, he's got more of a Zealot-based army, so he really would want to add Dragoon range, get his Zealot legs, get a bunch of stuff, and that takes a little bit of time. So if File takes a quick third base, eco's up, and can get some of that eco to pay off, right before Rain moves out, it's very strong for him. So we see that File's going to come in here and harass, but Rain is ready for this, with 2 Dragoons getting a lot of hits on the shuttle. He's actually going to... Oh, whoa. File comes within millimeters of losing that Reaver, but he gets out, so it's alright. But that definitely ends any hope of File harassing with Reaver anytime soon. Now, one of the good things for File is he did force out 5 cannons from Rain, which is a lot, and that slowed Rain down quite a bit, and File didn't get like a super slow expansion out of that. And of course, File's on his way to that third base now. And he does have an army position that is obnoxious for Rain. He's in control of the front of that base. Here comes the... Oh, that's the pro transfer. Okay, never mind. That's not reinforcements. So right now, Rain definitely is going to have a bit of a scary timing. But if File slows it down enough or distracts enough and can get up, you know, 4 or 5 gateways, get a round or 2 out of those, then he is going to be in a very strong position, both economically and army-wise. But right now, the big danger is not dying. But we can see Rain still doesn't have speed. And of course, you know, it's like, yeah, File's expanding, but you just don't want to move out like that. I mean, moving out with slow lots. And of course, Rain has 0 vision. Oh yeah, and Rain also doesn't have an OBS, a Robo and an OBS. So it's like, the more I think about this, the more I like this decision from File. I mean, Rain does have a Robo now. Because File just can't race out on, or Rain just can't race out onto the map. So going for that super fast third base, there's no way for Rain to punish it until it's kind of this moment. Now he's walking out of here with slow lots, which again is surprising. File might even opt to micro against these slow lots. I would love to see a quick pan back and show us our gateway counts. We can see the supplies gap is now closed, and File is definitely getting out more army. The only thing that File is lacking right now is that Rain has a lot of high Templars in his army, something that File doesn't have. But File should soon exceed the gateway count of Rain and also the supply count and army count here in a short while. He's going to pick off that probe. That's going to delay Rain's expansion further, which is... I mean, let's face it, File is going to have mined a lot from that third base, and Rain will not have. And yeah, File now holding the supply advantage. Now it's kind of cycling macro cycles, but Rain probably still has the better army. The size appears similar, but the addition of High Templar in Rain's army is significant and rather scary, and also a harass shuttle going out for Rain. Now it'll be interesting to see if Rain gets distracted with a battle and flies over the third base from File. If there's cannons there, that could be pretty scary. Oh, there's only 1 cannon, so that won't just cause the shuttle to die stupidly. Like, the shuttle will survive flying over 1 cannon. And Rain coming across File, yeah, I was going to say, File should just go to the high ground here. He doesn't have to pick this fight yet. It's just not the right time. Now, let's see how Rain reacts to this. Shuttle flies in, immediately running. Yeah, Rain did not expect that to be there. Look where he's flying his shuttle. He totally did not anticipate that. So now it is File scrambling to get back here and defend this natural. Shuttle's taking damage. I wonder if Rain was watching that shuttle at all. He's flying all the way into the main. Crazy shuttle aggression. He drops the High Templar. 1 goes there. Storm does not go off. That Storm looks to be a complete whiff. And the Brittany and his fellow commentator are losing it over Rain's whiff storms. But he has gotten a lot of mining time delaying here, and he's got a scary army out on the map, and there's no High Templar in this army for File, so Rain might have found a way to strike a killing blow against the third base. He's isolating File's army here, trying to throw down some great storms. There is a Reaver from File, but 1 Reaver does not have the power of 2 Reavers, although most of the Zealots are dead from Rain here, and it looks like the superior unit count of File is enough to push Rain back. And actually, never mind, I take that back. There is a 2nd Reaver here. Rain throwing down some pretty good storms, but 2 Reavers is a lot of offensive power here. And File just wants to fight Rain all the way back. And remember, Rain is taking that third base of his own, but it's ages behind, and File is working off of what appears to be 8 gateways, maybe 9 in his main. Rain off of what appears to be max 8. It depends on if those bottom 2 things are gateways. So reinforcements are definitely a little bit better here for File. And of course, he's got that third base eco going on. Now Rain is taking a faster third gas, so that is something that is worth paying attention to. But this gambit has paid off major dividends for File. Although the Zealots from Rain are finding their way into some pretty annoying positions. And Rain continuing to put on a little pressure with his army. Not ready to dive in there and go for the attack as of yet. Alright, so pivoting around is Rain. And I would like a shot of the upgrades too. Who are we clicked on right now? We're clicked on somebody's goon, but I don't know who's. Rain's. Rain's got one attack upgrade. Oh, File, no! Losing a double Reaver shuttle like that, not good. Okay, so upgrades in parity for each other. Both players all in the same upgrades. And now Rain's getting his third base up. And both players taking their third gases. Rain's slightly faster. Gas is not the end-all be-all in PvP, but it definitely makes a difference. You can add in a lot more Archons, a lot more Templar quite comfortably. And oh, that is a DT from Rain there. Abusing the fact that there might not be an OBS in this army. Oh, he's got a DT and they're sniping Templar. Rain's going to take another engagement, but the setup here is pretty good for File. And File's got to be annoyed having to do this fight because there's not an OBS in this fight. Anytime there's a DT at your army just swiping away, that's adding damage. And File is doing a lot of running of his Zealots, but these storms from Rain are very good on these Zealots. And this time, I think Rain is going to have done enough to soften these up. The Archons are there, and yeah, this time the engagement goes better for Rain, who adds also 2 Archons. And the DT snipes and late gas are proving to be a big deal. Rain does split his army here. File trying to get up on the high ground. If File gets his whole army up onto the high ground, that's going to make it a little easier for him to defend. He's going to have to reinforce this, but Rain, possibly with the sniping of those Templar and getting off some good storms, might have opened up a window. Now, I don't think he can break up the high ground. I like the way File is playing this, and he is playing some pretty nice PvP. Rain might be getting his edge back now. And he is constantly reinforcing. He's doing a good job of that. He's not gotten isolated. He hasn't gotten badly sandwiched. Money running just a little high for Rain right now. Obviously doing a lot of micro. Oh, is he going to pick off an arc? Oh, Rain, you sick nerd baller. Picking off one of Secret's Archons. And remember, those are the gas units. Those are expensive. Those mean a lot, especially with these guys both playing kind of Zealot-heavy armies. And now Rain is up on the high ground. Now there's a pretty wide spread here from File. File trying to buy time, and Rain is far enough in here that he is well and truly committed. Oh, but these Templar don't have energy. If they would have had energy, that would have been so powerful. The storms he could have laid down would be amazing. Now File is trying to collect his army. There's a lot of units here, and can File coordinate a sandwich? He has a big army. It honestly looks like File might be able to clean this up. That's a lot of Zealots. A beautiful surround on the Archon from the one side, but the storms from Rain are good. Now in comes reinforcing Zealots. Now he's trapping these Zealots in here, but the storms are very, very good. Still a lot of Zealots arrive, though. All the Archons are dead, and File, with some patience, comes up with an excellent hold, and this PvZ remains reasonably equal, except if we turn our attention to the bottom of that map. Notice the Nexus down there, keeping things moving here for Rain in terms of expanding. And, oh, is he going to get on top of that cannon? That's going to become very annoying. Wow, the two Templar into random High Templar walking in for a YOLO storm. It's not often you see High Templar walk across the map and harass, but in this case, apparently that's what the Templar was doing. But unfortunately, another whiff from Rain, which has been the story of the day for Rain's Templar attempts. Actually, his army storms have been great. His probe storms, his harass storms have been horrible. Oh, Rain, what are you doing? Well, I guess he's coming in here for a few more storms, and they're okay, but Zealot's fighting Zealot. It's really hard to actually storm effectively. I mean, Rain actually hit some pretty nice storms there. Wait, did Rain actually take that? Holy shit. Oh my god. Whoa. Whoa, that's a big deal, especially if those Archons finish and there aren't a bunch of goons coming up here. I can't believe this win. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did that just win Rain the game? We've got the Zealots in the mineral line now, and the Archon Morse finish, and most of the reinforcements for File are whatever. Those storms legit might have won Rain the game. They're certainly doing a lot of damage at the fourth. And is File losing his grip? No, it looks like File does have enough to clean this up for the moment, but Rain is taking the supply lead and taking a fourth base and disrupting. Oh, is he going to get the Nexus? Oh my god, he is. Oh, wow, okay. He holds. He holds. He's actually making a Reaver is File, but Rain now has a fourth base. Now, I can't tell if there's a gas over there. I forget the layout of the map. It looks like there is. So 4 gases for Rain. That's going to be very nice. A shuttle coming out here from File, deciding that perhaps he needs a little Reaver defense and a little bit of harass to move back into it. But guess who else has a harass shuttle coming in? Here we go. A Zealot is being dropped. A second Zealot is dropped, and the probes evacuate. He's going to continue to deny the cannon. Oh, he swoops back with the shuttle in case the probes were turned around quickly. And then Rain swinging into the natural here with the harass shuttle. The Templar's down. The probes are pulled. The Templar, oh my gosh, Rain using those speed shuttles, looking for the storms. But wow, oh, the probe pulls were almost great for File, but he actually counter probe pulled right back into Rainstorm. And so Rain does get a little bit of mileage out of those Templar. And when you're already ahead, that mileage adds up and adds up and adds up. And now here's File with the counter harass. First time here, so might do something. Rain might not be ready for it. File hasn't been in the habit of harassing. He does drop a Templar. He kills 4 or 5 probes here. And now the Reaver into the natural. Very expensive harass shuttle, but those are some big boy scarabs right now. Where is Rain looking? He's moving his army around, but there's not a battle happening. Unfortunately for File, the second scarab duds, and File is a bit out of position here. Rain jumping in, a good opportunity. File trying to collect his army, but Rain has a superior army. File's doing some very good harass behind this, and finally File has some high Templar and some major storms going down on those Dragoons. Rain is actually slightly flanking though, and File's army appears to be running out of steam. Reinforcements a long ways away. Damage has been done for File, but I think Rain is about to take it. Shuttle tries to come back in to harass for Rain, doesn't do anything. Oh, whoa, no, Rain, oh no. Rain is taking critical damage back at home though on his probes. Is this another probe? Okay, no, those are Zealots. Those are, okay. Those are Zealots, but looks like, wait, is File? No, File's not gonna hold his base, right? No way. No way. That is a lot of economic damage though. Rain's mining is really bad, bringing the high Templar back to defend. Oh, that shuttle is in so much trouble with those high Templar there. Unless, of course, a Scarab goes down. He throws down a storm on the Reaver. He's just going to keep the storms there. The shuttle can't pick it up. And that ends the harassment from File. But with Rain having 4 Nexus and File having 2, yeah, there it is. GG. Crazy PvP. File giving Rain a hell of a hard time. But in the end, Rain proves he is too strong, and he is going to put his team up with an advantage. ENG leading 3-2, and whoa, the hype. So EG Conects sends out Action, sends out JYJ. Well, I don't know here for ENG Conects. They are up 3, or for Seliver here, as I say, they are up 3-2, but unfortunately they have JYJ playing. And well, let's just say JYJ is okay, and it is TVZ, so these things are good, but Action has been strong lately. Oh, it's Tau Cross, by the way, if you guys are wondering on the map. Also old school, so a lot of old school maps making their way back. This was a WCG 07, 08, 09 map. I mean, also in Pro League, but definitely one of those decade-plus old maps as well. So this will be interesting because Action is been on a tear recently. He's close. I think he's number 7 or 8 in TL's power rank. He's up there with the stronger Zergs. Now, they are showing his win rate versus Terran is not that great, but again, I don't know what stats they're pulling from, and we don't know what spawn matches and other things those are being queried from. Because Action has been pretty fearful of late, and Action has always been known for having an excellent management game if things go late game. You know, he's up in the top echelon of Zergs in terms of late game management. His weakness, though, if anything, is more his early and mid game. Sometimes makes errors there or doesn't get into strong late game positions. And we have JYJ, who has what is a sample size of 6? It's not very useful. He's 1-1 against Zerg. We don't know who he played. It's 2 games. Doesn't tell us too much, but suffice to say, in terms of tournament runs and things like that, Action is certainly the favored player here. So Action dropping that hatchery pretty quickly, and a Rax goes down here for JYJ. JYJ on the right, Action on the left here, if you guys are interested in looking at the player cams. And the scouting SCV for JYJ is going to head to the wrong base, and Action is also going to head to the wrong base. Oh, okay, so 2 hatch play from Action here. So Action despite his management prowess, wants to get aggressive on the ramped or non-ramped Tau Cross. Now, the main for JYJ is not as easily harassable. If the positions were reversed, Muta would be extra specially strong because there's a lot of space behind that main for easy harassment. That is not the case for the other two bases. A little bit of positional differences in the maps. Natural can be harassed a little bit by action. The main is harder to get behind the minerals and harass. And scouting drone comes in here, nicely moves around the Marines, sees the SCV there. Probably just going to assume that a command center is going to be built. Not expecting a fake. And indeed, actually we saw that, it looked like Action actually saw the command center at the edge of his vision, if I was seeing that correctly. And Action bringing that drone back home. Is that going to be a bunker? Should be a bunker. Maybe it will be, though, because it's two-hatch play, and you almost always get links behind this. So we might actually see a bunker start at home. Usually you can base that on what your SCV sees. And if your SCV sees more than a pair or two of links making, you make a bunker. But if you've got the SCV alive and links aren't being made, then no bunker is necessary. So we'll see how good Action's chasing here is. Oh, JYJ is going to bring some Marines across the map here and try to do a little sneak if he doesn't see more drones being made. Now, if he sees more drones being made, you're going to see these three. Oh, maybe they were just hoping to find the Overlord. But Action has somewhat wisely kept it positioned safely over there. Yeah, never mind. That explains the weird direction those walked. What JYJ was hoping is he knew where Action spawned. He knows that Zerg would normally send their Overlord in that direction. Looks like Action is chasing this SCV very, very well, and the SCV has seen the last of its days. He was hoping that Overlord from Action would, of course, first go upwards, because that's how you're going to scout from this position, and then normally Zerg would send that Overlord across the map to sit over JYJ's natural. So JYJ was hoping he could catch it in flight, but Action wisely left it there, knowing that JYJ might do exactly that. Now, as is typical with two-hatch play, quite a few lings coming out of Action here, but we can see a very nice setup here for JYJ. Good and defensive. Now it's a bit wide open, but I don't think there's... Well, Action is going to go for it, and he is going to definitely kill a few of those Marines. And then the question is, does he go for the run-by? He's on top of those Marines, so he's going to go for the run-by, which will be annoying. That's some pretty good blocking by JYJ, all things considered, though. But with likely Mutalisk coming on the way, picking off these Marines is a big deal. Wow, that was a really good drill. So JYJ, his wall I think could have been better, but so far he's showing some nice defense, but now he's in danger of lings running into the main. This is not necessarily done for Action here. JYJ microing his Marines pretty damn well. He's mitigated the damage from this, and Action, yeah, I was afraid of that. That depot is not that good of a depot. He tries to drill, can't drill, and now with 4 or 5 lings in the main, this might be getting out of control for JYJ. He doesn't actually micro those Marines at all. He's trying to defend these two here with his SCVs, and Action getting damage done with these. But this isn't really about doing economic damage as much as it is about hunting the Marines and reducing the Marine count and or denying the turrets so the Muta can do serious damage. But you know what JYJ doesn't have? He doesn't have scanners. Now that shouldn't be the end of the world because JYJ has seen that it's 2 hatches, but the fact that a turret has not started for JYJ is a big deal. He's seen 2 hatches. He should know the timing of these Mutalisks is going to be around 6 minutes, but he's just unprepared for it. I think this is just... He's starting it, but it's way too late. The Muta are already there. You have to start the turret right about when the Muta start making, at the very least when the Muta are hatching, especially in a closer spawn like this, but it's just not going to happen. The Muta can now camp the fire bat, and I think JYJ just got overrun into GG. More lings are even streaming in. Action obliterating JYJ. JYJ looking like a 2K ladder Terran here, as everything is just dying. More Muta being rallied in, the count increasing. And yeah, let's face it, the SCVs are being pulled. I don't know what the SCVs being pulled are doing. I guess to help deal with the lings, but the damage JYJ taking now is overwhelming. He's trying to just defend his racks, but Action is just happily camping the racks. The reinforcing Muta continue to come in. Totally misjudged, totally outplayed by Action here, and Action is going to seal things out. 4-2 victory for ENG Conects in our first day here of MooProleague. So congrats to Action, but that weaker middle part of Seliver that I mentioned turned out to be a big issue. You know, like I said, they have strong ace players in Last and Cadenzie as the female ace. But they are, well, JYJ knows it's match point, so we're going to see him stay for quite some time here, probably, until he's good and truly dead. But their Selvier is really weak. There we go. GG is called. Action does it. And unfortunately, Selvier's weak middle is their undoing, and they're going to really have to do something about those players if they're going to even make it outside of the round of 8. But unfortunately, not much time. And I would say things are not looking too great for Selvier right now, but congrats to ENG for their win, and I will be back at you guys live fairly soon from now, less than 12 hours or 24 hours from now, for our second leg of the round of 8. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, it's been fun.